Good evening, councillors. Welcome to this meeting of Broadland District Council. This meeting is being live streamed, and I would like to take the opportunity of welcoming Suze Holland here tonight, who is the new leader of the Liberal Democrat group. Welcome to this meeting. I would just ask the Vice Chairman to read the fire notice, please.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're not expecting a fire drill today, so if the fire alarm sounds, we will evacuate the building. There are 2 fire exits from this room. One is through the double doors where you came in, and the other is to the right of the stage, your right, which leads to an external fire escape. Please note that depending on the location of the fire, use of the lift may be prohibited. However, we do have an evac chair and trained staff to assist people with mobility issues. In the event of an evacuation, we meet to the left of the driveway at the main entrance to Thorpe Lodge. Thank you.
Before we go to the main business this evening, I would like to ask you to stand for a minute's silence in respect of the passing of Jackie Sad, a very valued member of our finance team who passed away very recently. And I think as a matter of respect, you kindly stand for a minute's silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Moving to tonight's agenda, item number 1, declarations of interest, please. Have we any? Thank you very much. Item number 2, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes.
We've received apologies from Councillors Beadle, Clancy, Cook, King, Neeson, Roper and Starling. And I believe we have another one.
Yes, could I just say that David Harrison has COVID, and I'm sure we would all wish him a speedy recovery, but that is the reason for his absence tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Matthews. Officer Matthews, I should say. Thank you. Item number 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 9th of December. I would ask for anybody any problems or give you approval for those meetings, please. Councillor Nurden, please. I think you have a comment, mate.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to make a correction on page 27, the last sentence is 3 Conservatives and 1 Liberal Democrat, not local Democrat.
Yeah. Duly noted. Thank you. Any more? No. Thank you very much. Item number 4, matters arising from these minutes. Ken Leggett, please. Yeah. Judy Leggett, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd just like to ask concerning minute, I think it's 77 on page 14. In the meanwhile, the Managing Director undertook to supply members with further details regarding the use of Teams. I don't seem to recall receiving anything on this, and I wondered if it's available. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone like to comment on that? Chairman, yes, you may.
Councillor, I apologise for that. I was under the misperception that a video had been done and sent out. That video is now being produced for councillors and will be sent out in due course to enable members to not only have a written instruction, but to see how the best way to use Teams, particularly on the tablet, is concerned. My apologies.
Yeah, happy with that, Councillor Leggett? Yes. Thank you very much.
Chairman, could I just...
Yes.
Chairman, if I could also bring to the attention of councillors that I was under remit to write to Anglia Water on the back of the last council meeting. I did on the 4th of January write to Anglia Water, have since chased twice. They are collating a response. As soon as I have a response, I will, of course, share that with council. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Right, we move to item 4. Any matters arising? Any further matters arising? No. Item number 5, announcements. As you'll see, details of my commitments are shown in the papers tonight. The one I would like just to comment on would be the new site which is being produced as far as the situation regarding that's the water situation. Right, it's the new development which we've got now near Honningham, which has been built at the present time at great pace, and is the food reservation site which we've got there, and clearly good progress is being made on that. Now I'd like now to pass on to the Vice Chairman for his commitments, please.
Thanks, Chairman. I've nothing to add to what's on the sheet, but I did enjoy a nice day at King's Lynn Mart.
Number 3 will be the leader. Over to you, Councillor Vincent.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd just like to bring Council's attention to the fact that the Levelling Up white paper has now finally been published. And I'm sure we've all spent many a dark evening going through the hundreds of pages. What I'd just like Council to be aware of is that Norfolk is one of the 9 areas that have been identified as a possible deal that could be done, which means that we as a council, along with all the other councils across Norfolk, will be working with the county council as the upper tier council to see what that deal will look like, see how that can be brought forward. At this point in time, we have no idea really what the detail of that is, other than what's contained in the white paper. And much of that is contained in table 2.6 of the white paper, sorry, 2.3 of the white paper, which just gives an outline for the powers that could be devolved at the different levels. So once I know more, we know more, then obviously that will be brought back to council for council to be aware of the situation as that one develops. So watch this space. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Leader. Members of the Cabinet, yes. Yes, carry on. Councillor
Thank you,
Coulson.
Chair. Thank you. I just want to echo what you said about the Broadland Food Innovation Centre on the Food Enterprise Park at Honningham Thorpe. The building is coming on exceedingly well. We attended the ceremony to put the last steel in the building on the 21st of January. We're expecting the building to be completed by July this year, and new tenants will be able to go in from September. Currently, we have 3 tenants in the pipeline that are signed up, I believe, and the letting agent, Brown & Co, says that there is another 12 tenants interested in going into the building, which is actually more units than we have to let. We've only got 13 units. The food innovation cluster is coming on well, and the UEA report, they're working hard on this with Hethel Innovation, and that itself is sort of bringing to light the Food Innovation Centre, and I think that's why we're attracting such a good number of tenants. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Leggett.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to remind councillors of the £500 grant that's available for tree planting. We've had a good response from the urban fringe parishes, but I would like to see more from the rural areas. Probably it is possible that the problem here is that some of the more rural parishes don't have so frequent meetings as the larger parishes. But anyway, I would like to remind people the £500 grant is available for tree planting. If you haven't got time to do it before the end of this current planting season, you can still get your application in to be ready for the next winter and the planting season. So please do remind people that this is available. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Leggett. Councillor Lawn.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to inform Council that on Wednesday the 2nd of March and Thursday the 3rd of March, we will be undertaking essential maintenance work to the IT system for the planning services. This will also affect the availability of planning documents on the Council's website. We will include a note on the website to notify customers in advance, and we will seek to minimise the period of disruption. But unfortunately, this is maintenance work that we have to make sure it gets done. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mancini-Ball.
Yes, thank you. Just to advise, a couple of weeks ago, Broadland was awarded 2.1 million for a COVID additional relief scheme. This has been designed to offer a reduction on 21-22 rates bills for businesses which could not access other COVID-related rates relief. Just had an update from the team that they will be able to adjust bills before annual billing. So we are now in a position to deliver the scheme to approximately 600 Broadland ratepayers. There'll be a fixed percentage award of 24% relief with a limit of £20,000 per property. We will hold back a very small discretionary pot of 5% just in case we need to award any discretionary awards. I just want to congratulate the team. It's very difficult. The business rates and the finance team working together, it's always difficult to administer these, and they've managed to get this done before the annual billing goes out. So I just want to thank the team.
Thank you, Councillor Mancini-Boyle. Councillor Emsall? No? Okay.
Is it possible to make a comment in relation to one of the cabinet members or not?
No, not at this stage.
Okay,
Thank you. Item number 6, questions to the public. Oh, beg pardon. Yeah, Managing Director.
Thank you, Chairman. No, thank
No, no, right. Thank you. Item 6, questions from the public. We have none. Public speaking. Item number 7, public speaking. We have none. Item number 8, overview and scrutiny committee. Councillor Riley.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just moving for noting, Chair, all matters resolved, but please note that the minutes from the 1st of February are still in draft form, so could be altered subsequently. So all matters resolved, Chair. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Item number 9, Cabinet. Leader, would you like to speak, please?
Thank you, Chairman. I'd ask I'd ask Council to receive the Cabinet minutes. There's 2 lots of minutes to receive. The first one of those is from the 21st of December. There are 2 items there for consideration by Council, but they are, in fact will come to the next Council meeting on the 31st of March. The second lot of minutes dated the 8th of February. Again, I'd ask Council to receive those minutes. And again, there are items in there for us to deal with. Items 9.1, 9.2 and 9.3 will actually be dealt with under item 12 of today's agenda. So I won't deal with those at this point, which moves me on to item 9.4, minute number 244, the Treasury Management Strategy Statement, which I would like to ask the Finance Portfolio Holder to introduce.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So at the end of December 21, the Council had Treasury investments of 61.8 million. As most members will be aware, Broadland has a duty to protect the public purse, and therefore the key Treasury management principle was to ensure monies were not placed at undue risk by investing with appropriate counterparties or instruments commensurate with the Council's risk appetite. The Council continued to use its ethical investment policy for its treasury management function and kept an up-to-date review of the creditworthiness of the counterparties that it invested with. The Council has sought to make sustainable investments where possible. I would also like to advise the meeting that Qatar has now been added to the list of countries that the Council has chosen not to invest in despite their creditworthiness. I would then like to recommend to Council items 1 to 7 on page 98 of the papers. Thank you.
Have you a seconder?
Happy to second that, Chair. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Right. Any comments anyone wishes to make on that?
Only one question, really. I don't suppose we do, but have we got any investments that are linked to Russia at the moment?
I would hope not, but
Right. Thank you.
Right. Right. There being no further comments, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour, shall please show your hands.
That's carried, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. That moves us on then to minute number 9.5. Sorry, item 9.5, minute 245, the Council Tax Assistance Scheme, which again I'd ask the Finance Portfolio Holder to present for us.
yes, thank you again, Chair. The Council Tax Assistance Scheme is required to be reviewed on an annual basis. Following the review this year, we have chosen to make some changes. This wasn't taken lightly. We've spent 9 months, myself, Councillor Wymark, Councillor Prutton and Councillor Murrell, along with our colleagues at South Norfolk, to look at the Council Tax Assistance Scheme. There has been various modelling done, so many options looked at. The main reason for looking at the review was to simplify the scheme, especially for residents, align it not only with South Norfolk, but with universal credit, which simplifies it again for residents. And if we could possibly make it cost neutral, we would make it cost neutral, but we wanted to make sure, the main thing was we wanted to make sure it was fair. So the changes were drawn up, as I said, in collaboration. There was a 10-week public consultation, which was broadly supportive of the changes. The changes proposed would ensure the council was being responsive to the current economic climate and ensure that assistance was effectively distributed to residents and ensure help was provided where needed. The main aim, as I said, was to simplify the scheme for officers and residents, as well as to be fair and cost neutral. The change affected 52 residents. All of these will be contacted directly by the team, and the team has advised that it is such a small number, they will be able to help on an individual basis with that number of residents. And therefore, they will be advised how the hardship fund works as well and how that can be applied to them. So that will make sure that no resident is left without help. On that basis, I would then like to recommend the items on page 99 to 100. The copy of the changes are in Appendix 1. Thank you.
Have we had a second? Yes. Councillor Waymark. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm very happy to second this. As Councillor Mancini-Boyle said, an awful lot of work went into this. And I think it was a great piece of collaboration. Thank you. Thank you.
Any comments from Councillor Riley?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, and thanks for comments you mentioned there, Trudy, in terms of identifying 52. As you know, ONS had extensively discussed this as well, and we wanted to ensure that, of course, these people were fully aware of the hardship fund and that the council was proactive. And I think when I attended Cabinet and the confirmations coming back on that, I think we were very, very pleased with that situation. And with that caveat in there, which there is, of course, would support the scheme. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Riley. Anybody else? No. No. Okay. Right. That proposal has been proposed and seconded. All those in favour, please show. Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. So that moves on then to item 9.6, minute 246, the Greater Norwich Joint 5-Year Infrastructure Investment Plan and Annual Growth Programme, to which I'd ask the planning portfolio holder to introduce for us.
Thank you. I would ask that Council agree the draft Greater Norwich 5-Year Infrastructure Investment Plan of 2022 to 2027, as well as approve the allocation of the Community Infrastructure Levy for projects included within the Annual Growth Programme, and to agree the draft loan agreement for the drawdown of 6.733 million to support the delivery of the Long Stratton Bypass. The sum to support the delivery of the Long Stratton Bypass is only a small element of the project, as 70% is being provided by government. There are 3 projects proposed within the Broadland area who will benefit from this project: the Broadland Country Park, Horsford Crossing, the Yare Boat Club, and the Yellow Pedalway Extension, Airport to Broadland Northway. The recommendations on page 100 of the February Cabinet papers and pages 4-5 of the Council papers, it is recommended to Council that it A, approves the draft 5-Year Infrastructure Investment Plan 2022 to 27, B, approves the proposed 2022-23 Annual Growth Programme, C, agrees the draft legal loan agreement for the drawdown of 6.733 million through the Greater Norwich City deal to support the delivery of Long Stratton Bypass in Appendix E and of Appendix 1, and to allocate 350,000 of the infrastructure investment fund to cash reserve. And E, which is D in the council papers, but it's E, subject to the agreement of recommendation C, to delegate authority to the council's section 151 officer and the director of place in consultation with the leader of the council to finalise the terms and sign the legal loan agreement on behalf of the council. Thank you.
I'm happy to second that, Chair.
Thank you very much. Anybody, any comments to make, please, before we go to the vote? No. Right, that proposal has been proposed and seconded. Can we have a show of hands, please? All in favour? Thank you. Over to you, Leader.
Thank you, Chairman. That moves us on then.
Excuse me, Chair. Was that a full count of the vote? For and against?
It's a majority vote, so we just show that it was carried.
Okay, so proceed then moves us on to item 9.7, minute 247, the adoption of the Norfolk Green Infrastructure and Recreation Avoidance Mitigation Strategy, GAMS as it's known. Again, I would ask the planning portfolio holder if she could introduce that to us, please.
Thank you, Leader. Okay, and it is the adoption of the Norfolk Green Infrastructure and Recreational Avoidance and Mitigation Strategy, GIRAMS. I would like to propose the adoption of the Norfolk Green Infrastructure and Recreational Avoidance and Mitigation Strategy and the collection of related obligations from applications for residential development and other relevant development proposals in accordance with the GIRAMS evidence and Policy 3 of the Greater Norwich Local Plan, and to ensure that the Council continues to meet its legal duty under the Conservation of Habitats and Species Regulations 2017. Regulations require the Council to mitigate the footprint of visitors and growth, and therefore is proposed to introduce a tariff of £185.93 per new dwelling to build up a fund that could be used for green infrastructure mitigation measures. It is proposed to introduce the tariff on the 31st of March 2022. A preview of the strategy will be held within 18 months to advise the delivery of the specific mitigation projects. This tariff will be countrywide and the distribution agreed on a countrywide basis. The funding could be used to support and enhance existing green infrastructure as well as new sites to help spread the footfall across the recreational space. The recommendation to Council is on page 101 of the February Cabinet and on page 5 of this evening's papers. It is recommended to Council to adopt the Norfolk Green Infrastructure and the Recreational Avoidance and Mitigation Strategy and to resolve to begin collecting obligations from applications for residential development and other development proposals in accordance with the following requirements on Policy 3 of the Greater Norwich Local Plan. All residential development will address the potential visitors' pressure caused by the residents of the development that would be detrimentally impacting on sites proposed under the habitats. The payment of contribution towards the cost of mitigation measures at the protected sites as determined under the Norfolk Green Infrastructure Recreational Impact Avoidance and Mitigation Strategy, plus an allowance for inflation, and the provision or enhancement of adequate green infrastructure, either on the development site or nearby, to provide for the informal recreation needs of the residents as an alternative to visiting the protected sites. This will equate to a minimum of 2 hectares per 1,000 population and will reflect Natural England's accessible natural green space standard. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lord. Have you a seconder, please? Councillor Karen Vincent.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd be pleased to second that. I just wanted to point out, I think the portfolio holder meant county-wide rather than country-wide, though.
Apologies, as I said, county.
Right. Thank you for that. And anybody any comments to make on that one? Yes.
Thank you. I would be interested to understand in terms of the two hectares per thousand population. With the Environment Act, we've got a 10% net biodiversity gain. So I was just interested in terms of how, whether we were incorporating that condition now or later, or, with reference to that, would that be in addition to that, or is that something not yet on our radar?
I'm not sure whether Philip or not, but as far as I'm aware, it is to be incorporated in the proposal that I've just said. It is what I've just said in relation to the provision of or enhancement of adequate green infrastructure, either on the development site or nearby, to provide the informal recreation needs of the residents as an alternative to visiting the protected sites. This will equate to a minimum of 2 hectares per thousand population. What part were you asking?
Sorry, could I just come in? It may be better if we just ask the Director of Place to answer your specific question, as it is quite detailed. I could have a good stab at it as well, but I might be in the same place as the portfolio holder.
Yeah, I don't mind who answers it. It's just there's a biodiversity net gain.
Apologies.
And it's just not, that phrase is not used in this. And I'm just would like to understand why not, and where reference to that net gain in terms of this particular edition. That's all. And
he's behind you, Phil. We'll take that from there.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't relate to that part, but my understanding is it is all wrapped up in it. But the mitigation is to deal with a different part. And now the Director of Places in place, we'll ask him to explain that in more detail.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, that is correct. So this is trying to deal with effectively the impact upon those sensitive locations of additional visitors and trying to provide alternative areas that people can go. Biodiversity net gain is something that is very much on the agenda, and it's rising up the agenda. It is still not exactly clear how the government are intending to implement that. My understanding, even in indirect conversations with DEFRA ourselves, they are still struggling to know exactly how to implement that. It will be looking at a 10% biodiversity net gain. I won't spend a lot of time trying to describe that to everyone else, but it's a complicated issue. And we are anticipating that's going to be implemented as the year goes on. It is not included in this paper in front of you, and further information will come in due course.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's clear.
Councillor Lawrence, you're happy with that? Yes. Thank you very much. This proposal has been proposed and seconded, and we now seek approval for that. All those in favour, please show. Thank you, Officer Matthews. Thank you. Item number 10 on the agenda, Planning Committee. I think Karen Vincent will respond to this one. Thank you.
Well, I'll take the first bit, Chair. I was present on the 1st of December 21, chaired the meeting, and also the 22nd of January 22, chaired the meeting, but I wasn't here for the 5th of January, and Councillor Vincent will take that one. But for the 1st of December and the 26th of Jan, all matters resolved. Thank you.
Councillor Monk.
Thank you, Chairman. I can add to that. So for the 5th of January 2022, I chaired that meeting and all matters resolved. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Item number 12. Beg your pardon. Item number 11. The licensing and regulation. Councillor Prutton, please.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to recommend that the Council accept these minutes. There was one meeting in question in February And we had the successful award of 4 private hire vehicle licenses for happy new potential cabbies went home. I recommend acceptance of these minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't need a vote on it. No. Thank you, Councillor Trutton. Right, now moving to item number 12, council tax. Yes, resolution, sorry, yes, that's right. 2012/13. Councillor Mancini-Boyle, would you like to speak on this? No, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just to clarify for members, you're pleased to know my words now will cover items 9.1 to 3 and item 12. So you only have to hear me speak once. I know sometimes it gets a bit confusing with this, what we're voting on. So this will cover all the items before we open to generic debate. So I'm pleased to be able to present the 22-23 budget to you this year in person rather than virtually on a screen. I think we can all agree it's been an extraordinary year, and the coming year presents us and our residents and businesses with maybe different but just as many challenges. With challenges, however, this administration certainly see opportunities, which I will come on to when discussing the papers before you. I think such a year deserves a brief reflection. It's been a truly busy one for officers and members, as well as business as usual. Not only have we had to make sure COVID grants, business rate and any council tax assistance is paid out as quickly as possible, there are so many other non-financial ways the One Team has delivered. If that isn't enough, we have managed to sign a new refuse contract, delivering the rollout of food waste across the entire district, the collection of small electrical items and the use of 100% HVO fuel, the effect of which will reduce the vehicle carbon emissions by 90%. This new contract is good news for residents, as we know our green agenda is so important to them. We have also broken ground on the Broadland Food Innovation Centre, an innovative building helping to keep local produce in Norfolk by manufacturing it here in Norfolk. The building will be BREEAM Excellent. This is the world's leading sustainability assessment for buildings. This means our building will be in the top 10% of UK non-domestic buildings. A cluster of food and drink companies will be formed to excite and support each other, along with a support package from Broadland District Council. We are already on our way, as you've heard from the portfolio holder, to sign heads of terms with tenants, ready to move in later this year. Moving on to the proposed revenue budget and what will be the amended delivery plan to come forward, you will see how we seek to advance the Council's priorities: growing the economy, supporting individuals and empowering communities, protecting and improving the natural and built environment whilst maximising quality of life, moving with the times, working smartly and collaboration. Included in the suite of finance papers is a paper that is not normally brought forward, covering the Q3 outturn for 21-22. The paper details the combination of additional income, savings and efficiencies we have realised. In a nutshell, these include additional business rate pool income, increased fees and charges income, and SIL. In-year savings and efficiencies from One Team working in collaboration with the South Norfolk District Council. This is to name just a few. I do not intend to read the whole paper. I'm sure you're all capable of that. To have this one-off opportunity to make a real impact across the district is the reason for bringing this forward. We want to deliver at pace. You will see from the papers, although specific projects have yet to be worked through, the categories suggested are progress towards carbon net zero, accelerating our growth agenda. This includes the £428,000 Norfolk Strategic Fighting Fund, which was agreed at Cabinet in July 21, but as yet has only spent 30,000 of the funding. Supporting our communities, our environment, and investing in our talent and pipeline for the One Team. These projects will be brought forward for members' comment before the money is spent. Indeed, a refreshed paper of all earmarked reserves will come forward at the end of the financial year. I hope all members can see the huge one-off opportunities we have here. These are one-off and will not be built into the base budget. The draft budget presented to Cabinet is now confirmed with a small addition of £2,559 added to the lower tier services grant allocation. I feel it is worth highlighting some of the information within the papers. There has been a 2% cost of living rise along with a £180,000 allowance for PRP for officers. It is worth noting, however, that negotiations are ongoing and will be addressed when completed. Members will be aware that a number of temporary roles and functions have been funded from the COVID grant monies. These will all be reviewed and a paper brought forward at the end of the financial year to look at our position going forward into the new financial year. This will help determine what we will continue with utilising the remaining funding. We are not expecting to receive any further funding at this point. In order to monitor the savings from collaborative working with South Norfolk Council, a cost and savings tracker is maintained, and these have been built into the 22-23 budget. You will see in Appendix A, the cost of services for 22-23 is approximately 1.4 million less than 21-22. It is vital to continue to drive this down to address any shortfall in the medium-term financial plan moving forward. The local government settlement was slightly better than we had expected. This is, however, yet again a one-year settlement. This means the uncertainty around our funding moving forward remains. A combination of a business rate revaluation, new homes bonus, and both the service and lower tier grants received have been badged as one-offs. You will see in paragraph 4 the results of this year's budget consultation. Although there were only 122 responses received, this is actually far more than usual. It is always good to see residents engage in local democracy, and we are looking at ways to drive this figure up. Fees and charges will rise in line with inflation, as is normal policy. The figure has historically always been based on September's figure. We have left it that way, although the figure now is much higher. The exception to this is the garden waste bin, which will have no increase, so will be frozen however residents choose to pay. Moving on to the capital strategy and programme, you will see we are able to cover the funding required to carry out the programme. Anything that you see with a Y in the first column identifies where a business case is required to come forward. This includes the waste depot at Frettenham, as we are not considering other sites. We have £7 million in reserves for Broadland Growth, and is one area we are keen to push on with. Having already delivered successful projects, this administration is keen to deliver more and is investigating new projects and opportunities at the moment. We have a history of delivering successful projects, such as the award-winning Carrabreck development, the Plumstead development, the Broadland Food Innovation Centre, and the Broadland Country Park. As mentioned in the beginning, this administration realises the challenges facing residents. Inflation and fuel prices alone are extremely challenging for us all. That is why it is proposed that Broadland District Council freezes their council tax for 22-23. In addition, there has been no reduction in the services provided. This means that a Band D property remains at £129.91. This firmly cements this council amongst the lowest council tax in Norfolk. That's actually quite important because there was a council meeting last night in North Norfolk whose claim was to be in one of the lowest council taxes in England, but we are one of the lowest in Norfolk. This has been achieved due to years of sound financial management from this Conservative administration. This, coupled with the £150 energy rebate scheme announced by central government for this in-council tax band A to D, I hope residents will feel goes some way to support them. This will be administered by our council tax and benefits team. I know they will be up to the task to help residents as quickly as possible. You can see from the papers that there is a predicted shortfall in the medium-term financial plan that is created by not raising council tax. However, Broadland District Council, when looking at its budget, has a starting point of 0 council tax increase. Therefore, the challenge going forward is to plug that gap. I am confident that being innovative and working with the One team and South Norfolk Council, we can do that. Work will begin on that immediately, ready for the 23-24 budget delivery. Finally, you'll notice there is a £237,000 surplus in the 22-23 budget. It is felt prudent to move this into a new accommodation reserve. The funds required to carry out work to Thorpe Lodge are included in the papers, and as yet we do not have a separate reserve for this, and we feel it is appropriate to do so at this time. This reserve can be utilised wherever we see our office accommodation to be going forward. I do hope that all members can see the positives in this budget and feel able to support it cross-party. I'd just like to add one thing, if members would indulge me, please. I wish to send out some personal thank yous. Firstly, Debbie Lorimer, overseeing finance, but special thanks has to go to the Section 151 officer, Rodney Fincham, and of course his team. They have been tested this year, sadly losing 2 members. Their work involving COVID grants and the extra they've had to put into the New Waste contract and the Broadland Food Innovation Centre, because of course finance cuts across the entire council. I just want them to know, although I might not have seen them all lately due to COVID, I really appreciate them and thank them for their help and support.
Okay. All right. Does that complete your comments? Thank you very much for your report.
Does the
we
portfolio
now
holder
need
need
to
to
move-
move the recommendations?
Yeah,
Chairman?
yes.
Dawn has advised it's best to do it after the general debate.
These are individual.
Yeah.
9-1. We go to 9-1. Take a vote on that. We have to have a debate on.
I'm happy to do them if you want.
You are. Okay.
You want me to do just the first lot or everything? Okay. Minute 9.1
Yeah.
on recommendations are on page 94. Just bear with me and I'll give you the numbers of them. So that's to creation of the new reserves to support the opportunities identified in section 3 of the report at page 104. Then minute 9.2 is on page 96, items 1 through to 5. Minute 9.3 is on page 90. No, that's not. That's Treasury Management. 97. No, that's Treasury. Oh, yeah. To agree the capital strategy and capital programme. And then item 12, recommendations on page 165, the council tax resolution. So I've put those through on block. They'll be voted through separately, but obviously the discussion can be on the whole.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh,
And I'd like to second those, please, Chairman, and reserve
Yes.
the right to comment.
yeah, yeah. Separately. Separately. Oh, right. Okay, we can now open the debate on this. Councillor Holland?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, firstly, I would like to thank the Finance Director and the S151 officer and the team for all the hard work they put in to produce this budget. The Liberal Democrat group particularly welcomes the rollout of food waste collection to the whole of Broadland, and indeed the allowance for use of HVO fuel in the Strategic Environmental Services contract as important steps towards efforts to combat the climate emergency. However, we feel more can be done in regard to the environmental issues we face, and therefore next year we will be seeking to put forward proposals for that budget. The Liberal Democrats will be supporting this budget and welcome the council tax freeze, as we had in fact proposed a council tax freeze last year. The S151 finance officer did confirm last year that if we had implemented a council tax freeze, it would not have caused the council to go into deficit, and with reserves higher than the government recommended minimum, would have not been imprudent to do so and was safe and sound. We note that there has been a surplus in the current year and are pleased that the Conservative administration have not simply placed this in reserves as has happened previously, and indeed have taken the reserve to 10 times higher than the minimum at one point, which raised the question, was the council tax increase really necessary for residents? We also note that the finance portfolio holder has confidence that the potential funding gap for 2023-24 could be filled. And bearing this in mind, we would suggest that the prospect of a freeze on council tax in 23-24 should also be considered, and that the Conservative leadership should do all it can to manage our finances to ensure a council tax increase next year is avoided. With this in mind, the Lib Dem group will also be putting forward proposals next year to call for an additional council tax freeze and to balance the budget. Thank you.
Any other comments? No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, Councillor.
I'd just like to say that this is it's an amazing budget in a very difficult time for the whole country. I think councils have struggled. They haven't been financially clever enough. We show that Broadland is a council that can be forward-thinking, innovative, and also careful with our money. We've always been careful, and I think for me, over the last 10 years, I've seen this what is our way of doing things, and this is an excellent time to show that what we can do, and this budget is brilliant. So I thank all the staff, and obviously the portfolio holder has been working so hard on making it happen, but the staff work so hard to make sure that we spend every penny wisely. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Riley, please.
Thank you, Chair. I won't reiterate the leaders, our group leaders' statement, but I would just like to raise one point. This also has come up with other councils, and it did indeed, as county councillors will recall, on Monday's budget setting at county. We would hope that the leadership here would once again join in with a call with other councils upon the government to move beyond 1 year settlements. It puts all of us in difficulty as councils in terms of being able to plan forward, in terms of medium, long-term planning, and indeed working out what to do around our council tax in terms of raising, freezing, or what. And I know there are a lot of councils that constantly keep lobbying around this issue, but I'd just like to ask Trudy and Sean, actually as a leader, will you please continue to lobby on this and join with other councils, because long-term settlements, 4 or 5 years, is desperately what councils need and residents in terms of future financing of councils. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Would you like to respond?
I can, yeah, I can do. I think I've had this conversation with Councillor Riley before. I can't even remember having a multi-year settlement. So, but yes, we do continually. That's the way to be able to plan, without a doubt. And we've not had that.
Lana Hemphill, I think you have a comment.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd just like to say that I welcome this budget, and I think it's a testament to the hard work of both the portfolio holder and the officers involved as to how diligently and well it was prepared, even under the difficult circumstances that the staff side clearly went through. So I'd just like to congratulate everybody involved, and I'll be supporting this budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Yeah. Councillor Hartley.
Thank you, Chair. I was going to say what Councillor Riley has said, actually, so I won't repeat any of that, but in a slightly grandiose mode, I would say that the Labour group will be supporting this, but it's just me, so I will be supporting it, and I'm very pleased to see that you are freezing council tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Judy Leggett, please.
Thank you. I just want to add my thanks to the finance staff and to the portfolio holder for all the hard work that's gone into this budget. And I say I welcome the opportunity to spend some more money on the green issues, on our environment, and getting our new waste services in place, and hopefully increasing recycling. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the comments. Any more? Sure, right. Okay. Over to you, Leader.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, I'd just like to thank Councillor Mancini-Boyle and the Section 151 officer and his team for pulling together the budget for us in what are and have been very, very difficult times. I'm immensely proud of what this council, its officers and its members have achieved over the past few years. As a council, we have stepped up and ensured our communities and residents have all been looked after, especially the vulnerable. Businesses have been supported and delivered finance grants at an amazing rate to create the opportunities for our local economy to bounce back and recover. Our residents and their households are being hit hard. We are in a cost of living crisis. Bills all around are going up, and I guess sadly they will continue to do so. As a council, we are not alone. All councils are under extreme cost pressure. Inflationary demand caused by the COVID pandemic, and also as we continue to recover. The Conservative administration's budget, which I am pleased to second, is being proposed to council tonight, is a balanced, robust and affordable, while also enabling us to meet our aims and ambitions. We continue to align our actions with those things we said that we would do, keeping to our manifesto promises and delivering again and again. We are proposing a 0% increase, no increase, a freeze, however you want to phrase it. This is without any reduction in services. Our collaboration with South Norfolk Council goes from strength to strength. with each sovereign council seeing significant benefit. For Broadland, this is over £1 million and the equivalent of about 17% on council tax. As a Conservative-led council, we will continue to deliver on these values, which means that you will see us continue to support the vulnerable, provide solutions to housing needs, investing in the future prosperity of Broadland, our businesses, and our local economy, providing opportunities for people to improve their skills through training and apprenticeships, combating crime, preserving the environment and reducing our carbon outputs, while being underpinned by maintaining a strong finance management, providing value for money, and continuing to improve those services that our residents see are so important to them. I recognise these times are difficult and COVID has not gone away, and we now have to learn to live with it. Household finances and the cost of living are under immense pressure, and it's thanks to the strong financial management of Broadland Council by its Conservative administration that we are proud to freeze council tax this year and to do our bit to help. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Leader, for those comments. I think now the proposals have been put forward and seconded, and we now need to go to the vote on sections 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, and 12. Initially, the vote is on 9.1 and is reflected by a show of hands. And could I now ask all those in favour of this to please show? Thank you very much. Moving to 9.2. This will be a recorded vote, and the monitoring officer will read out the names necessarily, and if you could show which way you are voting, please. Over to you, Emma.
So councillors, these are recorded votes. So we've got 9.2, which is revenue budget and council tax, 9.3, which is capital strategy and capital programme, and council tax resolution. To save all of our time and me going around this 3 times in the loop, I will read your name once, and if you can give me 3 answers, please. 9.2, as it is revenue, 9.3 is capital, and item 12 is council tax resolution. Councillor Catchpole, you're looking confused.
I just wonder if you could be a little more helpful and tell us the page numbers. Thank you.
So your page 4 of your agenda has minute number 242, which is your revenue budget, and you have 5 recommendations there. Minute 243 is the capital strategy, and minute 244 is your treasury management strategy, and then item 12 is your council tax resolution on page 5, and the report is attached at page 165. Are we clear? Are we all on the right page? Ignore my comment on treasury management strategy. I got carried away with myself. I'll sort of throw another one in, see if anyone noticed. Oh, did you? Oh, I thought I'd got away with it, Councillor Riley. Okay, are we all ready? Are we all clear? And have you all got 3 answers for me? All right, let's give it a go. So, Councillor Adams.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Brennan. Councillor Britcher.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Bullman.
4, 4. Sorry.
It's always one.
This inflation, you got away with me.
Councillor Catchpole. 4, 4, 4. Councillor Copplestone.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Crotch.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Davis.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Emsall.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Fisher.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Folger.
4, 4, 4.
Councillor Gurney.
4,
Councillor Hartley, 444. Councillor Hempsall, 444. Councillor Holland, 4. Councillor Creamy Van Loo, 444. Councillor Lamming, Councillor Lawn, 444. Councillor Lawrence, 444. Councillor Judy Leggett, 444. Councillor Ken Leggett, 444. Councillor Mackey, 444. Councillor Mancini Boyle, 444. Councillor Moncur, 444. Councillor Morrell, 444. Councillor Nerdland, 444. Councillor Peck, 444. Councillor Potter, 444. Councillor Cotton, 444. Councillor Riley,
FOUR 3 sorry.
Councillor Shaw, 444. Councillor Dave Thomas, 444. Councillor Justine Thomas, 444. Councillor Karen Vincent, 444. Councillor Sean Vincent,
444.
Councillor Ward,
444.
Councillor Wymark.
444.
All items carried unanimously, Chair. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much for that, and thank you for your overall support for these proposals, which I think is very reassuring. Thank you very much indeed. Right, now moving on to item number 13. Oh, this is the option for external audit appointment, yes, which we need to discuss. And pass that over to the portfolio holder for finance, Councillor Anthony Boyle.
Councillor Nerdland has taken this.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. If I may just draw your attention to the papers on page 173 and just mention that there are 9 external audit firms that are able to or certified to undertake local authority audits. The PSAA are tasked with the procuring the best possible terms for local authorities, thus taking the burden from this council. The deadline for providing a response to the PSAA is the 11th of March, and that's for us to be able to opt in. This item was discussed before, during, and after an informal audit committee meeting on the 27th of January with all the members of the committee, and they fully supported the recommendation which you have on page 175, that the council accepts public sector audit appointments invitation to opt into the sector-led option for the appointment of external auditors to principal, local government and police bodies for 5 financial years from the 1st of April 2023. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Nerdland. Do we have a seconder for that?
Second.
Yeah, or several of them, yeah. Thank you very much. Any comments from anybody? No. That being the case, we can go to vote. All those in favour of the proposal? Carried. Thank you very much. Moving on now to item number 14, Monitoring Officer's Report. Over to you, Leader.
Thank you, Chairman. You have before you the Monitoring Officer's Report. There's one item to deal with on there that's a recommendation to Council that was missed in the December meeting, which is the appointment of Councillor Richard Potter to the Economic Success Panel. So I'd ask Council to acknowledge that.
Have we a seconder for that? Thank you. The proposal has been formally tabled and seconded. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. Item number 15 on the agenda, outside organisations. These are due to be noted, but does anybody have any specific comment to make on any of them at the moment? No? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 16, questions from members. We have none. Item number 17, motions, none. That being the case, that concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you.